For today's headlines, Liberal Party forms slim team for 2022. Comelec changes mind, extends listup. Private hospitals warn of severing PhilHealth ties. Over 50% of Cebu tourism workers inoculated. Virgin coconut oil improves COVID-19 patient condition. Youth indigents get free education. Tokyo protests sale of assets for WWII compensation. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is September 29, 2021 and these are the latest news this Wednesday morning. The once ruling party, Liberal Party, on Monday unveiled familiar names for its senatorial candidates in the 2022 national elections. During its National Executive Council meeting, or NECO, the opposition party formally nominated former Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV and re-electionist Senators Francis Kiko Pangilinan and Laila de Lima as among the members of its senatorial slate. It also passed a resolution endorsing the bids of Senator Risa Ontiveros and lawyer Chel Diokno, whom it described as candidates from outside the LP's ranks who are aligned with its principles and values and are such reliable partners in advancing its program of government. Ontiveros, Pangilinan, and De Lima have earlier confirmed their re-election bids. Aquino, however, is yet to officially announce if he would make a comeback in the chamber after his loss in the 2019 midterm elections. NECO is an annual gathering attended by the LP's key officials where they collectively set goals and directions for the next year. The LP also passed a resolution expressing support to the ongoing efforts of Robredo to build the broadest possible coalition and field an alternative ticket to challenge the administration's bets for the 2022 May elections. Robredo, the de facto leader of the opposition, has repeatedly emphasized the need to consolidate all opposition forces to form a unified front against the slate of President Rodrigo Duterte in the upcoming polls. Despite the separate announcements of Senators Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao, Panfilo Ping Lacson, and Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso of their presidential bids, Robredo refused to give up on her advocacy. She vowed to exhaust all possible avenues to make the unified ticket possible. The vice president remains the top choice of the LP as its presidential candidate, and she said she will decide on October 8, the last day of the filing of their certificates of candidacy. In what is considered a big turnaround, the Commission on Elections will now heed the suggestion of Congress to extend the deadline of voters' registration for the 2022 May elections for another 30 days. Senator Amy Marcos, chairperson of the Senate's Committee on Electoral Reforms, cited information from Comelec Director Teopisto Elnas Jr., saying the poll body and bank will pass a resolution today extending voters' registration until October 31. The Comelec has set September 30 as the last day for voters' registration, but lawmakers are calling for its extension for another month. Both the Senate and House of Representatives on Monday approved on third and final reading separate versions of a bill mandating the moving of the deadline. Last week, the Senate Finance Committee also deferred the deliberations of the 41.992 billion peso proposed budget of the poll body after Commissioner Sheriff Abbas politely declined their suggestion due to time constraint. Senators were worried that at least 12 million eligible voters will not be able to cast their ballots in the 2022 national elections if the period will not be stretched, prompting them to defer the hearing and give the commissioners more time to reconvene and bank and mull over their recommendation. A group of private hospitals on Tuesday renewed its warning to the government that it might sever ties with the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth, if the state insurer will deny their reimbursement claims. If the issues raised in their position paper will not be resolved, by 2022 they will no longer apply for reaccreditation, Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated President Dr. Jose Rene de Grano said in an interview with Teleradio. De Grano said there is an ongoing discussion between the private hospitals and officials from the PhilHealth, but the private hospitals demanded a concrete solution to the problem. They already raised this concern to PhilHealth and there were supposed to be talks, but their hospitals said unless there is a concrete solution to their demands, they will not talk to PhilHealth, he said. In Iloilo alone, he said that 7 private hospitals have already said they will sever ties with PhilHealth after failing to reimburse a total of 545 million pesos worth of hospital claims. These hospitals are Iloilo Mission Hospital, St. Paul's Hospital of Iloilo, Iloilo Doctors Hospital, Medicus Medical Center, the Medical City of Iloilo, Qualimed Hospital Iloilo, and Metro Iloilo Hospital and Medical Center Incorporated. He also added that more private hospitals will release their statement on disengagement with PhilHealth. Their member hospitals in the North, Region 2, Mindanao, and in some parts of Luzon will also issue their own statements soon, he said. De Grano also lamented that the state insurer failed to realize that many hospitals in the country have not yet received payments from the government since the pandemic broke out last year. He also said that their member hospitals remained at full capacity while operating with limited manpower. Several healthcare providers previously warned the government of disengagement with the state insurer after it issued suspension of payments to healthcare institutions who were involved in fraudulent activities. Earlier this month, the state insurer lifted the suspension and vowed to find new ways to address the issue in insurance fraud. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders. We're back on Tribune News on Q. The Department of Tourism announced that more than 50% of Cebu's tourism workers have been vaccinated against the coronavirus disease 2019. The Tourism Department disclosed that it has vaccinated 7,764 tourism workers, or 51.89% of the 15,257 target population as of September 22, 2021. Cebu Province has 6,405 tourism workers, and of the total, 1,590 were already inoculated, while Cebu City has vaccinated 2,453 tourism workers from its target of 4,073, while Mandaue City had 647 from its target of 1,062 tourism workers. Lapu-Lapu City, on the other hand, vaccinated 3,074 tourism workers, just hundreds away from its 3,717 target tourism workers. Vaccinating tourism frontliners is the first step in regaining what the industry has lost from the pandemic. Hence, protecting our stakeholders in the soonest time will help reserve these effects and recoup our tourism's momentum, DOT Secretary Bernadette Remulo Puyat said. We need every help we can get to finally overcome this crisis, as this really requires a whole-of-industry approach involving not only the government but the private sector as well, she added. The Department of Science and Technology revealed that virgin coconut oil is seen to help coronavirus disease 2019 patients to recover faster and is now considering using it as an adjunct therapy. If a patient has an existing medicine and will also take VCO at the same time, it will help the patient to recover faster, said DoST Food and Nutrition Research Institute Director Dr. Imelda Agdepa in an interview. Agdepa disclosed that based on the study on VCO conducted in a healthcare facility in Santa Rosa, Laguna, patients who were given the coconut oil recovered faster compared to those who did not take it. She added that the results of the study have been finished and published in an international scientific journal, the Journal of Functional Foods. The study involved 2 groups of suspected and probable cases of COVID-19 who were admitted in the facility. The first group were given VCO in their meals, while the other group were given regular meals. They saw that those who were given meals with VCO recovered faster from the symptoms of COVID-19 as early as 2 days. She added that those who did not take VCO recovered at a later period, and the results have been confirmed after data showed that the blood of patients who took VCO has low C-reactive protein level, indicating that the infection is low. In a separate interview, the official said the DoST FNRI plans to expand the clinical trials on VCO in Valenzuela and Muntinlupa and aim to finish it within the year. She also said that the University of the Philippines, Philippine General Hospital, is now studying if VCO can also be used as an adjunct therapy for severe COVID-19 cases. The WWII University of Science and Technology Center for Indigenous Peoples Education disclosed that a total of 147 indigenous youths are currently enrolled at the university for free. Director Arnil Gabriel said that the school is focused on providing the needs of the students through other government agencies, groups, or individuals that can help them achieve their educational goals. Gabriel noted that the primary need of the indigenous students is tools such as laptops or tablets and internet connection to continue their studies during the COVID-19 pandemic. The school has provided computer sets and internet connection boosters at the Caranglan campus to be used for online studies. The students themselves were the ones who chose the area where the internet boosters and computer sets are located, making it accessible for them. It is near their community. University President Feliciana Jacoba cited that they also seek to provide job opportunities to these indigenous students after they graduate, adding that many agencies are keen on helping them. The university aims to continue helping the indigenous communities that have youths who are willing to learn and impart their knowledge to their communities. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
It's time for the world to know. Outstanding Filipinos in America. The 11th Outstanding Filipinos in America Awards 2021. A salute to the heroes of coronavirus. Coming back live in person at the Carnegie Hall in New York City, home of the TOFA Awards since 2011.
Magpabakuna kayo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and
Magpabakuna kayo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Chinky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments dito sa ating programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Magpabakuna kayo.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. And now for our world news, a South Korean court has issued an unprecedented order for assets seized from Japan's Mitsubishi Heavy Industries to be sold to compensate World War II forced laborers, prompting Tokyo to protest on Tuesday. On Monday, the Daejeon District Court ruled that two patents and two trademarks held by Mitsubishi Heavy should be sold to compensate two female Korean plaintiffs in their 90s, according to South Korea's Yonhap News Agency. The proceeds are expected to raise enough to pay each victim around 209 million won, or $176,700 in compensation and interest, it said. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Aranda Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning!